which workshop was it? Was it like on a
Alan,
Wednesday
Jay
or
on Thursday night.
on Thursday? Okay,
I
yeah.
don't know which one that was.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I
yeah.
went to, and it was good actually.
Well, there used to be, I mean, during that time, I guess, there used to be workshops here almost every day of the
I
week.
think so.
Yeah, so now we only have the Monday and the Wednesday. That's why I'm like, okay, which one was it? Thursday.
I think it was Thursday. Maybe I'm misremembering it.
Yeah, that's cool, yeah.
Who teaches them now?
So we've got Raquel Baker hosting the Monday night fiction, and then the Wednesday night poetry has a rotating facilitator. Right now it's Jose Hernandez Diaz.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although, so we then started going to Suzanne's workshop at UCLA.
Oh, okay.
And that's how we got Suzanne, right? Did you know her already?
No, we went to dinner.
Hi.
How you doing?
We're just talking about our whole history.
Oh my goodness, goodness sakes. Here we are, this many years.
So many years. We
And
already say how many.
all of us survived.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that you survived. I'm surprised that Yvonne survived, that's obvious. But we survived, and that takes some doing. And we went on to meteoric fame and national success and glamour and glory. And I stood here in LA. I just decided, I think I will stay in LA and continue to be a failure because it's working for me. But this is very cool. This is very cool that we're reading together.
It's really
Isn't
nice.
this cool?
Yeah.
We were recollecting how we went to your workshop at UCLA, and we used to meet early and have these tiny bottles of wine
Oh,
on
yeah.
the lawn before class.
Yeah, and I could still drink cheap wine without getting a headache, so that's how
That was our routine.
Well,
And
my
then,
body is only used to cheap wine.
Yeah.
If I drank anything expensive, I'd probably have a reaction. And I'm going to get your most recent book. And it's in the bookstore.
Okay.
I see it.
congrats on yours. Yours is just out.
It's not even officially out.
Exclusive.
It's
Oh, wow.
so, yes, the copies that people buy now, I think someday you will be able to sell them on eBay for a lot of money. They're the first ones off the press.
So everyone should stock up now.
That's right, and make your fortune later on down the line.
Right.
That's right, and I just, but let me let you look at it, and you've seen it, I suppose, Yvonne and Judy, it's a little shocking, I should warn you.
Shocking. I've seen it online.
It's
So
startling.
what's the story of this illustration?
The story of the illustration is that it was done by a radical performance artist and sort of a street style artist in the 80s. You know Blanc? Blanc became, his name was Blanc, that's probably not his birth name, I don't suppose his parents gave him that name, but he goes by Blanc, and he became very famous in the 80s and continued to stay famous. He was part of the La Raza movement in LA, and he's now showing in museums and things like that. And he does this very sort of raw art, and all of the what books authors choose. You go up to his loft in East Downtown LA, and I had to climb them. I had to climb more stairs, and my heart did not appreciate the number of stairs that we had to climb, and my heart was complaining at me. And you were there.
Yeah.
And you were scooting past. I mean, you were like running up the stairs, and I was down there. Okay.
No, it was rough.
And his whole loft is covered with pictures. I mean, all of the walls. He painted all the walls, and then you go through files and files of his pictures. And you pick one. Every author, poet picks one that they feel will work for their poetry. And I was having a hard time finding one because his work, it's a little bit soft and muted. It's a little bit, some of it's a little bit ghostly in a certain way, or a little bit abstract. And then Gail Ronsky, the publisher or the founder of What Books, out of this big stack, she pulls this up and she goes, this! It came out of a fiery cauldron. It came out of the core of a volcano, this. And when I first saw it, it was so different from what I'd imagined, which was more classic noir, a street, empty alley, shadow, real saturated light, street light. gun, I don't know, something, that kind of, film noir look. And I went, I don't know, people will think my poetry is sort of raw. And they might think it's sort of raw.
That's a good thing, I think.
But it's also really fierce and yes, okay, and I have to sit down, I have to get certain things in order.
Or should
I
I?
have to get my
Really quick.
markers
I have to get my mind in order.
I have to, yes, I have to get a, see if I, here's my little reading,
Will you do it?
Sure, you want me to introduce them? Okay, and then, Jessica is going to be the appointed one, she's appointed one, who will talk about why we're really reading together.
Oh, okay.
And why we're all reading together, that sort of thing.
So who should I pass it on?
Pass it on first to Jessica, who will introduce why are we all reading together.
They're wondering like who's going to introduce.
Yeah, so we usually
Do we just need this? We need 5, so we can do 5.
and I have
Those are boring.
Yeah.
I can just say a few things. I can probably say a few, well, why don't I just say a few things about, to read this whole book. I can find it online. And I will just mention a few things about you. You see your friend over there?
How was Kevin last night, by the way?
oh, good, it was great.
He's my colleague now.
Yeah, I was here from Cynthia. And I was asking.
Oh, Cynthia Good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was asking.
Oh, last night?
Yeah.
Oh, because you got confused, I guess.
No, no, just probably because you guys were.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I just got it.
Well,
Okay.
yeah. But yeah, I can pass it on. I just read the paper and I'll put it.
Okay, that's fine.
That's all this live stream. I should have marked it on this live stream and I could watch it all. I suppose.
So you're okay with that?
Am I gonna read
Call
this?
you first.
Okay, and I'll just read or I'll read the slide? No.
No, I think if you could provide.
Deborah, but just do.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'm gonna do that.
You're outside.
Okay.
It's nice that they come on.
It's an unfashionable, it's an unusual owl.
Do you have anything planned?
That makes sense. Yeah. 'Cause, one of my students, lovely, and she was going to come today, but I guess she went. Well, were you here last night? How was it? Gorgeous voice.
All right, folks, if you could please take a seat, we're going to get started. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Wanda Coleman Theater here at Beyond Baroque. I want to start by acknowledging our presence and unceded territory. We stand in solidarity with Indigenous, Tongva, Tataviam, Chumash peoples who've endured colonialism and displacement. We stand against genocide and are committed to provide a space for Indigenous artists and communities as they are the original stewards of this land. Beyond Baroque is a place dedicated to the possibilities of language, founded in 1968 by George Drury Smith. The space first began as an experimental literary magazine, and it is now housed in the original Venice City Hall building, which we are standing in, since the late 70s. So we have been around for 57 years, in this location for 47 years, and we're standing strong to be here a whole other century. So you can learn more about LA's oldest literary arts organization through our website, beyondbaroque.org. We continue to offer a free Monday night fiction workshop and our Wednesday night poetry workshop. Both of those happen weekly, virtually, on Zoom, where participants are allowed to develop their individual pieces with a group of participants. Coming up on October, we are in the middle of our fall season, and next week on Saturday, at 4 p.m., October 11th, we will be opening for our exhibition in the Mike Kelly Gallery, East of Western, which is a series of portraits of the late poet Charles Bukowski. His personal photographer, Joan Gani, will be showing an exclusive set of portraits that have never been seen before in the space, and we will be having a conversation between her and Mike Sonskin. They will be talking about his work and some of the context behind the portraits that will be shown in this space. So that will also be in the afternoon. Do come by. We also have a series of programs lined up with the exhibition that will feature poets from City Lights, as well as editors that compiled some of his work in the later years. And that exhibition will be running from October 11th all the way to December 20th. So plenty of time to come and visit that in the space. We'll also be featuring a few book launches by Walton Walt Press that will be hosting Mariano Saro and Ramon Garcia, and we'll be having a Halloween open mic. So come dressed up as your favorite dead poet, as your favorite dead author, and you know, spit some fire here on the mic. We're also having a workshop in partnership with the International Writing Program at the Iowa Writers Workshop with Manuel Becerra from Mexico City. This is a workshop for bilingual writers, and it is facilitated over Zoom, and it's happening from October 14th to November 18th. So you can find more info about that on our website as well. And you know, in spite of the many challenges we are facing as an arts institution, we have been losing funding from federal government, from national grants, and it is really now up to us, up to our community to keep the space open. And if you are willing, are gracious to support the lifeline of the space, you can become a member. We are offering memberships at $75. There is a discount for students and seniors, but this gives you perks to the bookstore, as well as free events. And from time to time, you know, we throw in a few gifts and also experiences that are open just to members. So you are directly supporting the poets that we bring to the space and keeping our doors open in this entire time. We will be having a fundraiser November 15th, and that's also another way that you can support, and we'll be having several authors in the space reading, and a bit of a surprise as well with a music performance and just a general hangout with a lot of small presses that will be here as well. Lastly, I just want to thank our team. Let's give a round of applause to Eric Alberg in the booth. Yeah. Our director is Jimmy Vega, Genesis Perez in the bookstore, Ana Condueñas, and Zoe Descudi. They're all running the ship smoothly, so big thank you to all of them. And today we're welcoming 3 poets gathering from East Coast to the Western Coast. That's Suzanne Lummis, Jessica Goodheart, and Deborah Landau. And to start off, I'll be welcoming Jessica Goodheart. She first began writing poetry in the 1990s at this beautiful space here at Beyond Baroque and the Thursday night workshop. And in 2023, she edited Poets on the Beat, a multimedia collaboration between Beyond Baroque and the nonprofit newsroom Capital in Maine. Her work has appeared in Rattle, The Antioch Review, Poetry Goes to the Movies, and Wide Awake, Poets of Los Angeles and Beyond, which you can find those titles in the bookstore. Her poetry collection, Earthquake Season, was published by WordPress. By day, Jessica is a senior editor at Capital in Maine and is an award-winning Los Angeles-based award-winning Los Angeles-based publication focused on social, economic, and political issues. Her reporting on low-wage work, housing, and politics has been recognized by the California Journalism Awards, Best of the West, and the LA Press Club, among others. She lives in Pasadena, California. Let's please give a warm welcome to Jessica Goodheart. Enjoy the show. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out to Beyond Baroque and supporting poetry today on this beautiful Saturday. I just first want to say a word about why this pairing of poets. The answer is Beyond Baroque. That's where Deborah Landau, who you'll be hearing from soon, and I met in a Thursday night workshop. We then we bonded over poetry and decided to take a class, Suzanne Lummis' legendary UCLA Extension class, and studied with her in her private workshop. And I guess you could say the rest is history. I wanted to open my reading with a poem that I wrote in Suzanne's workshop that kind of went the distance, got me into, amazingly, a Best American Poetry, which is just what happens to you when you study with Suzanne. This poem began as anyway, I won't go into the whole history. I will be concise. But the poem is called Advice for a Stegosaurus. And it's a bit of a climate poem, although it didn't really start out that way, and kind of a grim one, unfortunately. Advice for a Stegosaurus. Never mind the asteroid, the hot throat of the volcano, a sun that daily drops into the void. Comb the drying riverbed for drink, strut your bird-hipped body, practice a lizard grin. Don't think. Stretch out your tail, walk as you must, in a slow, deliberate gait. Don't look back, dinosaur, dust is dust. You'll leave your bones, your fossil feet and armored eyelids. Put your chin to the wind. Eat what you eat. So the next poem that I want to read is one that I wrote on the weekend before Inauguration Day this year. I was kind of in a mood, and I think lately over these past few weeks it's been hard to find the right vocabulary to talk about what's happening in our country, and I want to thank Cecilia Wallach, who's here, for reminding me of how helpful neologisms can be. This poem is called We Are on the Pre-Verge of It, January 19th, 2025. I'm rewarning you. The metafreakasm is coming. That's how the quasi-blue Americanists feel about it, the constabulary of the Quakables. The super breakdown. It's happening. We all want to be under Beddish, to watch this omni-night Marrington re-eliminate itself. We can re-foresee the anti-dragism, the depersoning, shitstorm clouding on the horizon, the oligarchics rejiggering the algorithmics. It's all so pseudo-same-esque, yet vastly more tremblable. And still, will we undergrasp the orangevity of the moment? Will we just re-bemuse ourselves with humor aid? We lack the right vocabulary. Our re-attention is pre-scattershot, while theirs is millenarian, vulgarian, despotian. I'm rewarning you. We are on the pre-verge of it. On a lighter note, this is a poem that I wrote in another more recent workshop of Suzanne's. And it's kind of about, oftentimes we want to either be someone else or maybe different versions of ourselves or maybe better, more interesting versions of ourselves. This poem is called Jessica. I want the hills rolling and green and yellowed with flowers, the grapes ripening in rows, and the company of large animal clouds. So I drive California's Route 134 to the 5 to the 46 in search of that big sky dose of the new. Aren't we every day craving that drink of lavender? I stop for coffee in Buttonwillow, a town named for a white flower, once a meeting place for the Yokuts people, now a convergence of mini mall and motel. When I check my cup of Starbucks iced latte to see that it is truly mine, I know I don't need a double shot of lush farmland to get my fix of the unfamiliar. A barista has rechristened me, stuck a name on my cup that is more concise and poetical than my given name. Without the judgment of J, without the heaviness of the extra S I've been carrying around all my life. From the ordinary dactyl of Jessica to Jessica, a joyful up, down, and up seesaw of syllables with a nimble first letter that can be either consonant or vowel, Jessica, a dance that celebrates the new credo of yes. In my Chevy cup holder, I place this new identity that rhymes with the old one, but is more musical and slightly foreign and has a past that I'm only beginning to know. Okay. How am I doing? Okay, not too, can't see you. All right, not too long. All right. This poem I wrote after going to the beach on Labor Day, which I don't recommend. And then on the way back, we got a flat tire. So that's like the basic outlines, although it was a good day, and you'll hear why. It's called Labor Day. A heat dome hangs over LA, causing the sun-stricken to swarm the freeways, pitch tents by the shore, flaunt thong bikinis, splash, wade, sprawl on the beach where no patch of sand goes unclaimed. The breeze is so elusive that tents creep toward the water's edge. No beachgoer will break camp without a longing backward glance as the sun slinks into the Pacific. It will be hot tonight. There will be bodies on the road. Or so says Levon, the tow truck driver, an expert with a winch, who later that evening will haul our Chevy from the side of the 710. A shredded tire. He's seen worse. Next to a cruiser, an ambulance, a wrecked car, a girl driver in handcuffs, reckless homicide. He says, I tell everyone, stay off your phone. He's tuned to Tupac, and we're rolling in his cab past lit-up fast food joints and pop-up taco stands. Most tire shops are closed, but Levon knows a place in a neighborhood of low-slung warehouses, coiled barbed wire, and snuffed-out streetlights. A smell of sulfur hangs in the air. Don't worry, he says, we're almost there. We're on a moonless street when we come upon a garage lit up like baseball, players moving in the slow heat amongst the brake laths and engine jacks, all through the bacchanalia. They've been here. While beachgoers shake out their towels, they change batteries and switch out bad bearings. While Buicks and Audis collide on freeways, they practice their craft. While we sit in damp suits on a wooden bench, they cut, roll, and patch tires. For $20, they get us on our way. Okay, I think I'll just read one more really short one, and then I'm going to turn it over to the main attractions. This is maybe one of the first poems I wrote that was good. This is called Stick Your Head in the Copier. Let the light seep into your eye sockets, your pores, illuminate your hair with a flash as bright as Vegas. And you, the you that is not you, the inverse of you, will be tacked on every cubicle wall as a reminder of courage. She took a chance, they'll say, stuck her head into the jaws of the great machine. It terrifies all of us, its mysterious appetites and blinking impartations. Of course, you may simply be tossed into the wastebasket, which gorges from 9 to 5 on a bleached coleslaw of trees, or recycled into a romance novel teeming with breathless heiresses and dark-eyed suitors, your cracked lips and shadow hair barely recognizable. In any case, you'll have felt the light in your veins. For a moment, you'll have glowed like a saint. Thank you. All right, and bring up Suzanne Lummis, the fantastic, the wonderful. That's your introduction.
Yay, my student who made good, to be followed by another student who made really good. All right, there's nobody needs to hear my bio. It's online, and the only thing. Well, what is my relationship to this microphone right now? I want a good platonic relationship with this microphone. Can you hear me okay, or is it fuzzy? Oh. Good. I need all the advice I can get. How is it right now? You never use it? That's interesting. Oh, I hear the difference. That's good. I sound powerful. This is the only thing I will say about myself. Oh, look, you left your... Good. Thank you for this. I'm going to keep this watch. Only thing I want to say is that this new book will be officially published a few days from now, October 7th, and there are very few. Mary Fitz, you're up there. Mary Fitz actually reserved one on Facebook to get a jump start. So there aren't too many of them right now, but I have a very few of them here. In this particular collection, almost every poem, except for maybe 4, has some element of crime in it. Either a little sequence that refers to crime, or a gun is suddenly dropped into the poem, usually by me because I wrote it. And some of them are very much about victims of crime, particularly women. And there is some humorous material in here and some really dark material. I'm going to steer away from the darkest material. I'm going to open with I figured there must be a reason that I started this collection with these 2 poems. So I'm going to start this reading with these 2 poems, read a couple more from elsewhere. Those of you who know film noir, and especially those of you who know one of the most famous film noirs, came out in 1944, know how a woman can realize in the noir realm that she is truly in love. I'm about to tell you now. If you can only shoot your lover once, that's love. So this is the story of Double Indemnity, and Phyllis Dietrichson talking to the man that she could only shoot one time. But he wasn't in love, so he could shoot a fatal shot. Double Indemnity, the second shot. Walter, This is for you. That second shot I couldn't make myself pull the trigger for. Rewind. The show's nearing its final credits and you're slumped on the wall, soft and sweet, with a fresh bullet hole in your department store suit. You look like nobody's angel, yet the word fallen makes a sudden sighing noise in my head, and that cold place in me, smear of methane on some wet black street headed toward the dead end of town, night blooms, a somnolent flame. For you, Walter, I'm telling you, stroke by stroke, straight down the line like we promised. Next, I make my big mistake. Remember, I confess I can't finish you off, and I tell the reason why. You pull me close, and I feel just before the chilly know-how of your 45 touches my heart, trust. Goodbye, baby. Walter, what is it to kill? You're dead, and even now you don't get it. Even now you don't know me. Listen, I looked up, glimpsed through your reflecting eye the flat earth, the sudden dropping sea. In a gully of wind, I sailed off the edge of the world. Let them call me Spider-Woman, femme fatale, as if they know anything. Boys and their babes stuffed with milk duds, cozy in their mid-row seats. Rewind again and again. I grow too dangerous for your type of guy to let me get out alive. I fall in love. That's that one, first poem. Now we come to the second poem. And, thank you. Thank you. That is a fierce and authentic smattering of applause. I follow with a poem that takes little elements of what's in the first poem that is a cinematic, almost romantic retelling of crime stories from the 40s, a little bit stylized, not altogether realistic, and I place it in our world and the sensibility of our times. And now there are two women, and the man is very distant. The other woman. We considered the Beehive, the Sugar Plum, or the No Turning Back Cafe, but settled on this, the Tavern of the 6 Round Corners, where there's a full moon every night and no one holds a gun to your head, not in this drift, this expose light. But love, yes, that does direct a firearm toward us. Still, we won't talk. Well, we do, but just to each other. There's a man, barely enough for one woman, and we are two. And we know we have made him more than he is, made him big, almost imaginary, a whole carousel. How could we not? We had to make him worthy of all this emotion. Now, keep in mind, this happened years back. So we smoke, as people did then, years back, in the movies. And we like to think of ourselves as movies. We offer a menthol edge to the air smoke, a reminder of death, which we like. It sharpens the senses. No wonder the Aztecs kept skulls around. We lean to tap off the burnings in the vessel between us, a tray for ash, our hands always moving, dipping like beaked and winged things toward some source of attraction. then rising, waving away the hot inhalations, displacing and replacing the air, signing our speech. We grow silent and gaze at the night. Outside, in the slots and cubicles, back pockets of the city's night, punks here and there handled their stubby, unsubtle firepower and pointed at what they want. Who cares about those tin cans? They're on their way to the dump. Someone rolls an old country song onto the jukebox, and we say yes to 2 more of whatever the house recommends. We came here to figure this out, but now we've forgotten. Which one of us is the other woman? Okay. It can have all kinds of fun. There's a lot of crime going on these days, especially in the highest echelons of power in this country, especially by the ruling class. But you can also have a comic book character talk about crime. Then I'm coming up to my political poem. Everybody, you have any seatbelts you can fasten? I'm going to come around to a political poem before we're out of here tonight. I'm only going to read 2 poems and then a very brief little part of a beautiful email that I got today from a student in Fresno. I will share with a little bit of it with people because it has to do with the power of poetry, artistry, and the people who read poetry. Okay, something to keep you here so you don't walk out in the middle of this poem. Wonder Woman, Private Eye. Beautiful as Aphrodite, wise as Athena, strong as Hercules, swift as etc., etc. Okay, it's Hermes, in case you've forgotten. Little winged lad, pretty boy, transmitting his messages door to door, dispensing his favors. I'm done with all that, with the myth racket. Even the land of the Amazons, tribal thing. For me, like the kids say, it is so over. Now, I work alone. I go 1 foot softly over the other, flightless, low as the humans, and moving as they do over asphalt. It happened like this. One day, as I flickered through air in my tall, shapely boots and whatever strapless swimwear DC had me sporting that year, I caught a touch of ennui. Disgust, actually, and self-disgust. I wanted the truth. I wanted the many-headed, terrifying forms of it that made my twinkling lasso of truth look like Tinkerbell's dainty little wand. Then came the call of the wild, pull of the dark, deep and knowing. I was sick of cartoons. You ask, the boys ask, always they want to know. So what am I wearing? Not a trench coat, cliche, a jacket, leather, color of tarnished silver, black zippered pockets, slim jeans like a normal woman. And yes, I'm licensed to carry heat. Now, get your mind off my body. And on to this one over here, dry from the sunlight, jammed under a dumpster off Alameda, south of the old train yards. Seems most of his blood escaped through the same hole. Sure, I'll call 911, speed dial the LAPD, but I'll be working my own angle. Who is the real culprit? The jackass who pulled the trigger? Or the deadbeat no-show dad? Or the dull, ignorant mother, the neighborhood that gave up, city that turned its back, world that was busy elsewhere, space in its icy beauty rushing toward no place, discharged from nothing. Who, where, what is the arch villain? I wonder. Okay. My political poem. This is a poem that I've written and rewritten for a few administrations. I keep rewriting it. Now we come to the worst of the administrations. It is inspired by Mark Strand's poem called The Babies. I studied with Mark Strand for a term, and he was a very interesting man to study with, especially at that moment in my evolution. He had a poem that at one time many, many people knew, now not as well known. And his poem, The Babies, had this refrain, let us save the babies, let us run downtown. The babies are screaming, let us save the babies. Even if we run downtown in rags, the babies have fallen asleep. Their dreams are infecting them. The babies are growing into their suits, and so on, and keeps going and going. And I saw an opportunity to talk about to give this a little bit of a political slant. And I could not find the right end to this particular version until things started happening around us, where suddenly all of us were being closely affected by the emergence of forces, even into LA. I'll give it away. When ICE came into LA, I was able to write the end of this poem. The Big Babies, After the Babies by Mark Strand. Let us save the big babies. Let us vacate our premises and head east nimbly as possible. The big babies are subscribing to their own ideas, filling their own big shoes. Let us hurry to the White Hill where they accrue in large numbers and bubble in the feeding bowls of themselves. They are fomenting plans. I will don a wreath of spring lilies and a gossamer gown. You will spruce yourself up. Let us hurry. The big babies sit trapped in their skin. They grew, but it failed to stretch. What can save the big babies? The mythic cow toy of the Andalusians? A milk bomb from the gurgling fen? Let us step up our pace. A small item flies from my purse. There is no time to look back. They are shifting and grouping. They have appointed a leader, His Highness, Big Baby. It's almost too late. What can appease the big babies? The lost teething ring of the last golem? Play money that can pass for counterfeit? They think some winning will save them. They mistake some losing for winning. We must run faster. Nothing is certain. No one is safe. One contagion is airborne. They sicken and die or recover. One contagion is thought-borne, angry, colicky. The infected start to resemble each other. Let our strides become leaps, arcing and graceful. Let your legs churn in the wind. No, we're arriving too late, too slowly. Already choice words fall away. My mind has begun to close like a nut. Let us say, please, go on without me. No, I'm fine. I am good. He is great. Lock her up. Lock them up. Send them back. All right, nice. There's a nice optimistic one to end on. But I'm not ending right there. I got a letter this morning. This is the letter. This is the letter I got. I'm not going. Yeah, I'm going to read the whole thing. Sure, several times. No, that's what it looks like. But it's from a student at Fresno State, and he was talking about the. He was talking about his in this poem his response to the first poem I read, Double Indemnity. And part of his letter, and the important part comes at the end, which I think it speaks to the power of art. But this was some of what he had to say about double indemnity. And remember, this guy's he says he's not a writer, but he wants to use social media to introduce young people to literature. It's in his early 20s. There are certain works of literature that move you so deeply that you think about them every day. For me, it is works like Steinbeck's Grapes of Wrath or East of Eden. I think about Flannery O'Connor's Wise Blood every day. Shakespeare's monologues and sonnets I think about every day. Friends, Romans, countrymen, now God stand up for bastards. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? I think about the opening epigraph of the picture of Dorian Gray every single day. Keats's Ode to a Grecian Urn, or A Thing of Beauty is a Joy Forever. And let Greeks be Greeks and women what they are. So many great works of literature that I think about every day. And I'm glad, Suzanne Lummis, of Double Indemnity, The Second Shot. It will live among them. No, but that's nice that he said that. Now I will remember the final stanza and how it made me feel every time I think about a great movie or visit a movie theater. Okay, that's a nice review, and I wish he wrote for the New Yorker, actually. But this is how he ends this long letter, this young guy. Finally, at the risk of overstaying my welcome, I would just like to reiterate the point I made when we met. And I had mentioned how much I love the movie The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I would just like to reiterate the point I made when we met, and that is that you are an absolute badass. And I wear my cowboy boots because of Sergio Leone and his spaghetti westerns, but now I also wear them because, just like you, I want to exemplify that writers and artists are capable of being badass. Sincerely, Oriel Perez. There's hope. Hope, everybody.
Oh, that was so great, Suzanne. Congratulations on the book. Listening to you, I remember, I think I learned voice from you. The way your poems are so alive on the page, that energy, that sizzles. Yeah, I really love it. And such an honor to read with you and with Jessica, to be back at this place, which holds such a dear place in my heart. I've never used that phrase before, but now I understand what it means being here. I just moved to LA. I didn't know anyone. And I started to come to the Thursday night poetry workshop, and I remember that one, Jessica walking in, and we became very good friends, bonding over poetry, and we had the idea to go to Suzanne's workshop at UCLA, and we used to meet up in the on the campus green in advance of the workshop with little bottles of wine, and that was years of friendship later. I'm going to put on my little stopwatch here. Okay, so I have a book. It came out a couple of years ago. This is my 5th book, Skeletons. And I started writing it in spring 2020, locked down in Brooklyn in my apartment. And I'd never written in form before, but I was in the same room I don't have an office in my apartment. It's in the living room. And usually everyone would be out, but it was the pandemic. And so I was in the same room with my husband, some kids, and a dog, 2 dogs, actually. And I thought, I'm never going to write again. And I decided to try to give myself an assignment. an exercise, and I decided, I don't know why I decided this, but to write acrostics, which are like a kindergarten poem. Like, have you, like you don't really write those except for in kindergarten or first grade, and where the, you have a word that's spelled down the left-hand side of the poem, or the page. And that is, I used the word skeletons. That was on my mind because the sirens were going by all day long. And then my editor said, you can't just have a whole book of these. And so I added another sequence called flesh. So death and sex is my thing. Okay, skeleton. Oops. So whatever's the opposite of a Buddhist, that's what I am. Kind-hearted, yes, but knee-deep in existential gloom. Except when the fog smokes the bridges like this, like instead of being afraid we might juice ourselves up, eh? Like might get kissed again. Dwelling in bones, I go straight through life, a sublime abundance, cherries, dog's breath, the sun, then ouch, and all of us snuffed out. Dear one, what's waiting for us tonight? Nostalgia, the homes of childhood, oblivion, how we hate to go. Skeleton. Sundays I spend feeling sorry for myself. I've got a knack for it. I'm morbid, make the worst of any season, exclamation point. Yet levity's a liquor of sorts, lowers us through life toward the terminus, soon extinguished. Darling, the comfort is slight. Tucked in bed, we search each other for some alternative. Oh, let's marvel at the world, the stroke and colors of it, now, while breathing. Skeleton. Serenity, all these poems start with S. It was so easy to write poems because you just collect like little pots of words. So words that start with S, with K, with E, and then you write from one to the next, sort of free associating. It's really playful, and that's how I was able to make these. Skeleton. Serenity, that's a vicious circular one. I've tried loving kindness, chocolate, running at night, vitality, energy drinks, slacking on a terrace in Paris, deep breath, lilacs, trying to chill out. What a joke. It don't last long. Everything dulls to a fugue state, its singular pulsing tremor, its lack of friction. Yet persists such capacity to feel alive, oceanic in my longing for rain, for the end of me, fluidity, freedom, numinous, the world glowing on without us, its golden hours and shady graves. This one, I was thinking of Wallace Stevens, who said of poetry that it must give pleasure. Flesh. It must give pleasure, but rarely. It rarely does. But pleasure is so useful when it comes. Pleasure says, this is your sort of place, your year. You live here. Pleasure's the perfect swerve. It wins you back. Pain won't take you nowhere. Chocolate on the tongue. Vodka, velvet, voila. A zipper slinking in its silver, its long slide down. This is a poem about high school. Remember high school? Skeleton. Strutting a Vex Cyndi Lauper, a flourish. Stunt kissing Kevin S. behind school on roller skates. Getting all electric in biology class at Dairy Queen, babysitting, Eric M. lying on top of me under layers of Michigan winter. We were excessive. Those scenarios could get orthodontically complex. Trepidatious afterglow, we'd saunter back to school. Who needed oratory? We were mad for the body and its meant for pleasure finery. Lips a cherry, nails glassed wine. Libido and overdrive meant to keep us here a long time. Flesh. I like watching you, sliding into the banquette with a red wine, a warm glass, still animate. Only flesh is elevating, it clasps. A prick can be key, how it brings along exquisite its red life animal press, dark between bones like the body's answer to the doozy of us, hurled forward, still talking, all spent, and always dizzying near with sour breath times metric. I have some deep pandemic poems in here. No one really wants to hear about the pandemic. But anyway, in New York, it was harder, I think, than here because you couldn't go outside really. We were in our tiny, there was no, it was cold and everything. And so we would go up to the roof and we had like a illegal fire pit thing and we would have like little parties up there. Skeleton. S'mores aren't vegetarian, but let's leave that out of it. Kibosh, shush up about the gelatin factories. Lighten up now. Extra marshmallows, please. We attempted festive, desperate limbo year, camped on the roof lit illegal in the fire pit flare, errant nights as in anything can happen, caged days traipsing around the living room, streaming a cringy dance class, oblivious to the rear view photobomb, the dogs joining in, our nonstop stopped. It's the end of New York, Z said. And it wasn't. Here's another one. Everyone got a dog during the pandemic in New York. I don't know if did that happen out here? Probably, same thing. Skeleton. Should we get a dog? We talked about it for blocks. Klutzes, what would we do with a puppy? You with your edibles, and me kind of losing my mind. Look at us here, stranded. Long weekend, the longest. Evidently, we've been cultivating a deliberate recklessness, trapped in this getaway for what seems like oblivion. Are you for real? It's a marvelous toxin, shut in narcotic in these parentheses, nodding off together, one breath at a time. Flesh. It's a love poem for my husband. Flesh. I thought a lot about your body, my body, what it is to lie in bed together and sleep. To the shores of silent dark and back we went each night, like that wasn't a mystery. Our physicality grew more hulking. More and more I had to squint at the mirror to recognize my face. Flesh. Can you hear me okay? Okay. The long and short of it is, a podcast can only take you so far. There goes our summer neighbor, wife of bathing it at the barbecue again, her toned shoulders, her back talk and small army of dogs. Here we still are. Another summer, same bathing suit, same cutoffs and blueberries, the same sordid daydream I keep having, ashamed here to say because someone might see. We won't do a single new thing, it turns out, just keep cycling through the years as if they were endless, as if they'd never cease. Will we ever run out of days? Who dares to count? To say there are maybe 30 more Christmases, if we're lucky, 30 more Julys. Skeleton. Summer dark found us binge-watching the Perseid, perched high-kinked on the lifeguard chair, undertowed by sky. The stars again, with their echolalia, their vanishing. August had come round once more with its compulsory lusciousness, its tang of berries on the tongue. We preened in preparation, epilation predictable as rosé, grass stains, mosquito bites, biking at night. Toddlers thumb their noses at the pandemic, the sidelined octogenarians. We tried to stay preoccupied with seasonal frivolities, like how nano or non were our sunscreens, like flip-flops, tick checks, the cycle of tides. Here's a poem, it's a little longer, and it's about the romance of friendship. You know those friends you have where you never do anything, but there's always that little energy there. Flesh. You in your ecstasy of coffee, Me all amped on juice, an ooze of sunshine, a foil of water, a concordance, two waves in sync, making a larger bright. It's unseasonably warm again, nothing will bloom, the trees blown way ahead of schedule, and we never kissed, not even once, despite the come-ons of summer, scented with rain, lilacs in the deli, tempting to send me over the edge, as if we could rinse everything and be clean again, but no. Thursday, 4 p.m., the city can be beautiful when it wants to. Stands around so photogenic by the boat pond. Lucent doorway of the day beams us through, pine needles, puddles, tussle on the sidewalk, a pigeon or two. Streaming by, here come the minutes, exposing themselves, and there they go. What is real? June keeps on flaunting its meadow of music, its drink. Let's leave our apartments and go to the park. It's a festival. We want a popsicle, some honeydew, a break. Let's go out into the music, flowing broadly now through giant speakers. The success of friendship, let's drink to it. Hello, emptiness that is coming. It will engulf. And then, a freighted woman, I'll fall back into my hole. Goodbye. My body will never be satisfied, but here in the pre-headache seasonal glitter, first burst of summer, still the thrill of it, the heat. So two more poems. It's really good to have like a little stopwatch when you're reading because it feels like I've been here for like 3 hours, but it's only 12 minutes and 22 seconds. It's a really good reality check. Anyway, the book ends with a sequence called Ecstasies, and I'm just going to read two of the 5. Ecstasies. 3. Are we done with life? I'm still so into it. I like to drink and read and use my mouth, our bodies constellating in the smothering heat as the trucks slam by. The song of a siren has a sort of infinity in it. So too the poof of dove on the sill, drop cloth of sheets, a drench, the coming dusk, drizzle of sky, it's fading and spanning, days become decades, and then we belong to a generation of hideous inattention, clutching our rectangles of light like, who am I talking to? Ecstasies. Catch me alive, I am today, swept through the air in a flesh, thinky feeling, lugging itself up the subway stairs and now back on Spring Street again in the dazing light, pumping the marrow, a breeze of breath, a blood. And still the minutes accelerate and we wake back weighted with days. Will we waste them all? And then when we get there, we will think, I wasted them all. Stony before I was laid in stone, mourning before I was mourned. And what was this velvet for? Spring didn't know. Flags of the grave, well, also a jubilance, not just a bawling. And off again toward whatever, drinking exalted or coughing, but still can swallow. And here all your parts are warm and mostly work. And look, it's luck, while not yet a word from the underworld. The necklace of days, bracelets of hours, the flush of blood, present swelling, the yes please of sex, the abject of. Is it precarious? Yes, exquisite, alive, staging its trance, the hand in hand, the mouth sloshed with coffee, sugared and warm. You're silent reading this now. I'm going to end with a new poem that is not in a book, but was in the New Yorker last summer. And where did it go? Okay. I've been writing like something new, a new book, and it's in a persona, which is really fun because you can make stuff up. And no one blames you for what it says. Okay, it's called While It's Happening. I apologize for the phone, I'm traveling. Okay. Other people were always talking in the cafes. The girls were young, the women were old, the men were always just men. Turenne to Bretagne, Bretagne to Charlot. It's good to walk slowly, to feel what's under your feet. It's good to breathe the heavy-sooted air, to pass the men smoking in front of Le Progrès, the dogs having their walks, les enfants. On Rue de Belém, the paintings hang jade and cyan, and azure shining so alive it startles, and the pigeons are lulling, a seduction. Careful what you're gonna do. Must I be abstemious? Must I be pure? A woman enters summer, leaving behind a past, its fizzled magic. Salut, says the sky. The days go on, a diminishing bliss seeping out of the horizon. Down by the river, people are dancing, a kind of sex in the open air, and the birds have something to say. The moon has something, the trash does, even the rats. Dear summer, increase my heat. Dear summer, another pastis, another daybreak with full breach. The days flip by and fleet the nights, and back on the bed again, these finite pages, the years. But why grieve? You're breathing. Thanks so much for listening.
I guess I am oh, you're tall. My goodness, you're tall. As well as being an amazing poet, she's tall. Yeah, I guess I'm representing Beyond Baroque right now and saying, please, continue to fight on the side of the right and the good against the dark and the stupid. Buy poetry books. And I wanted to mention that lovely tribute to artists and poets that Oriel Perez wrote at the end also extends to people who read poetry, who love poetry, who buy books and support writers. I believe. Jessica and Deborah, do you think that's true? They see? They agree. They second me. They second me. So that's true. And I was lying when I said I was going to steal your watch. This is yours. I'm not going to. Although I do know a pawn shop, a good pawn shop. All right, go. I think that there's something. Is there something for us to eat out there? Aren't there treats? I think there are treats for us out there. I certainly hope so, because we expect them with the price of a ticket. All right, everybody, see you out there.